Get in the video. Sex easy. And put that on YouTube. And he's a fireman. Before that he was in the Navy. So I had like the white uniform with the like dog bowl hat. And then he became a fireman.
A mediocre one.
A mediocre fireman. Hi guys, I'm Tennille and this is my husband Matt and our 3 kids, looking awfully happy. Archie, Zipporah and Wallace. So Archie is, sit up Archie so we can see you. Archie is almost 8, Zipporah is 6 and Zippy is, Wallace is 3.5. Are you 3? No, not 3. How old are you? 7? You're telling stories. Alright, you guys can go if you like. I just wanted to introduce you. You can be in another video. So that's our little family. But today I wanted to do a video on how we came to homeschool, why we continue, and what we hope to do in the future. And I've included Matt. So serious. I've included Matt because it is a team parenting decision, not just my decision, and also so you can hear his sort of point of view on it. So we started homeschooling after Archie did kindy, so which was a community kindy in far north Queensland, which was fun. It was really play-based, lots of painting and reading and the sort of kindy you want, not the sort of pushing education when they're too little sort of thing. It was a lot of fun, but we, as the year sort of went on, we thought that he was the younger end of the year. So we started thinking, oh, he's too young to go into prep at 4.5 years old. So initially we thought, you know what, maybe we homeschool him for a year, and if we want, we can put him into prep a year later. Just because he's go, right? We couldn't imagine him sitting at a desk. I didn't want him to either. We were sort of like, let him be free, let him run and play and not be stuck at a desk all day, 7 days a week.
And being a boy, a younger boy as well, towards the end of his year, that was always going to be a big hurdle to overcome. Just with getting them to sit still and using up their energy usefully as well.
So that's why we started, and being so young, I just started research into homeschooling, unschooling. I think straight up we were thinking, it's exhausting, isn't it? Straight up we were thinking that this young, like at that age, it would be more unschooling. Like the whole idea was to let him be a kid a little bit longer. And initially we did only say, like, what did we say, to like 8, 9 years old? We sort of had that
7 or 8. That's from the research in, is it Norway or Finland? Finland, where they start school at 7, which allows them to stay at home with their parents to build up their values, their their belief system, all that sort of stuff from home, and they get their traits from their parents.
Yeah, so we sort of thought, rather than
sending them to school and learning them from someone else who might not be the same values or have the same beliefs or have the same learning styles or teaching styles. Yeah. We wanted them to have what we have, not what somebody else is going to give them.
Yeah. So we started homeschooling him from prep age, so 4.5. Almost a year, and then we moved into a caravan and we decided to travel Australia, and we spent we spent a whole year on the road, and after a year we stopped in Western Australia at my sister's place, still in the caravan, but thought we'd spend some time with my sister over there and get some work while we were over there to continue our trip. And while we were there, Matt thought that wouldn't it be good to send him to a small school while we're here, we might as well let him have that experience. And I was really resistant to this because I was the one that had done more, like usually what happens, well not always, but sometimes it's the mum who does a lot of the research, a lot of the reading to, like keep motivated and get ideas of how to be homeschooling and unschooling and how you want to be doing it in a positive way. So I didn't understand why we should send him to school. He was happy. He did not want to go. He expressed that he did not want to go to school. But Matt was like, you know, if we convince him, he'll want to go. We had this discussion. Matt thought it was important. So I went, you know what, fine. So I said to him, look, I know you're not that keen on it, but why don't you give it a go? It's last term. There's going to be lots of play, less learning, as in like they're winding down. It's not going to be, I sort of felt confident that hopefully there'd be, not less learning, that sounds horrible, hey? But less pressure in the fourth term than like the first term. Yeah? So we did it, and he was happy to go. He was, yeah, okay, yeah, give it a go. And he loved it. He did love it. You ask him what he loved about it, it was only his lunch hours. And if you asked him what he learned, it was how to act at school, and when you're allowed to eat, and when you should go to the toilet, and that you're meant to sit there. These are the things he came up with. I'm like, no, what have you actually learnt? As in, what are some of the things you're doing? And he's like, oh, I learnt to do an acrostic poem. It's like a few weeks at school, and we've learnt to do an acrostic poem and learned how to act at school. Not saying that's not a reflection really of how his time went. I'm sure that he learnt stuff. But for him, all he cared about was the social side. But what we found was his behaviour when he got home really changed, like within weeks too, right? Within a couple of weeks we were like, what, like, why have we done this? Like, what did you notice in him? With Zippy and Wallace, really, hey?
Just the way he treated his brother and sister was less than ideal. Yeah, it was very blunt. It was as if, you know, he didn't want to spend time with them anymore. He just wanted to... He was
above them, really, wasn't he? So he'd always spent time with us as a family unit, lots of time with cousins and other homeschoolers of all different ages. So he then went to school where he was in a classroom with all kids his age. So we think that's the reason why he then would come home and think he was better than Archer, than Zippy and Wallace. So it was like he was the big kid and he would talk down to them and, no, you're not playing this, and this sort of behaviour that we'd never seen in him before. And that was enough to sort of go, yeah, and I actually remember this one time when Matt was just mad at him and just, I don't remember what he'd even done, but Matt just said to him, mate, I really do not think that school is a good fit for you. Like the way you're acting, your exhaustion, your everything is, like, it was changing him, wasn't it? In a negative light. But when he did, as soon as that school year finished, we had him back, didn't we? Like, by January. So, you're going to go again.
I just yawned.
So, we continued homeschooling, got back on the road, travelled, and haven't really looked back, haven't considered school, even when we got here to Rocky. So we've been sort of transient lifestyle for about 2 years, and we've just moved here to Rockhampton, which is central Queensland, and yes, settled down in a house for the first time in 2 years. So I think there were a few people that assumed we would start school straight up.
2.5 years.
2.5 years, yeah. A few people thought that, sort of questioned why we weren't going to school and why wouldn't we, and I don't see why. If something's working, don't change it.
You're still happy at home, you're still learning.
They're learning ridiculous. Like,
and if anyone's worried about the social aspect, they're playing sports, which is more than enough.
But the social aspect is the one thing I think that people think...
It's the fallback.
Or that...
It's the fallback for everyone's opinion as to why school is better.
But if you think of our kids, even other than when now we're doing sport, because we're like, I'm in the one's place, let's do some sport this year. But before that, the kids are bloody social. Like, Archie makes friends. When we made friends with Kevin and Judy, who live in Adelaide, we made friends with them in Tassie. And Archie was like, oh, Mum, my mate's going to be up at 6 a.m. Like, I've got to get out the caravan soon because my mate's going to be up at 6 a.m. Kevin was like grandparent age, right? Like, and they were best mates. Archie was like cool as. He would make friends with old, young. I even remember that homeschooling group in Tassie. We caught up with a heap. It wasn't a homeschooling group. It was all the travellers in one campsite. Hobart? Launceston. In Launceston. And we had the guys from the Root Cause there. We had who were some of the others that were there? There was like 13 kids anyway, ranging from 14 down to Wallace was 18 months. And those kids would they all just played together. There was no old, young, no segregating into girls, boys. It was like quite a few parents came out and took photos. And that is a lot what it's like. Yeah, that was a travelling group, and they were all homeschoolers in various ways. So distance ed, some were unschoolers, some were like curriculum, yeah. And I find that with homeschool groups, everyone's the same. Everyone just hangs out, chills out, like cousins would. It's like when cousins get together, and it's all different ages, and everyone's cool. All right, so that is us. Not weird at all. Not weird homeschoolers. You want to be licking your mouth like that? What's wrong?